Hello everyone. Now, having gone through the colligative properties of direct solution, and for example, we have gone through relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation and boiling point, depression and freezing point, osmotic pressure, and abnormal molecular mass, that is the colligative property of electrolytic solutions. Now, we are going to take up some objective numericals problems on this colligative properties. So to start with, let me take up some example. First, let me take up this example. Now, 2 gram of A, whose molecular mass is 40 gram per mole, and 2 gram of B, whose molecular mass is, let's say this is 60 gram per mole, are dissolved in 50 gram of water each. So we have two solutes A and B. Now in 50 gram of water, 2 gram of A, whose molecular mass is 40, is dissolved. In another container we have 2 grams of B, whose molecular mass is 60, is dissolved with again 50 gram of water. That means we have solution of A and solution of B in water. Now the question is, which of these solution, A or B, will have greater osmotic pressure, greater elevation and boiling point, greater vapor pressure, relative lowering of vapor pressure, greater depression freezing point? So question says relative lowering of vapor pressure, delta TB, delta TF, and osmotic pressure. Now we have to just compare these colligative properties. Now look at this. We have these colligative properties. While discussing colligative properties, I told you. Now look at this. Mass of A and B are same. Mass of solvent is same, but the molecular mass of A and B are different. So while discussing colligative properties, we have gone through this particular point, that all colligative property is inversely related to molecular mass of solute. So now look at this. Since colligative property is inversely related to molecular mass of solute, the mass of A is 40 gram and the molecular mass of B is 60 grams. So now 40 is obviously less than 60, so the colligative property of A, therefore colligative property of A will always be greater than the colligative properties of B solution. So that means relative lowering of vapor pressure of A will be greater than B. Delta TB, elevation and boiling point, will be more in case of A than B. Depression and freezing point, more depression and freezing point will be produced for A solution than B solution. Similarly, osmotic pressure of A solution will always be greater than B solutions. So we look at this. The more important part is colligative property, which is inversely related to molecular mass of solution. So this is applicable when same grams of the different components are dissolved in same mass of the solvent having been same. So ultimately colligative property depending on the molecular mass of the solute. Second question. Now we are given different solutions. 1 molar solutions of urea, sodium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium phosphate, aluminum sulfate. So these are 5 different solutions whose concentration is 1 molar each. 1 molar solutions of urea, NaCl, sodium sulfate, sodium phosphate and aluminum sulfate. Now the question is, we have to arrange this increasing order of vapor pressure, increasing order of boiling point, increasing order of freezing point, increasing order of relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point and osmotic pressure. So for this 5 different solutions whose concentration is 1 molar each. Now let's see how to solve these types of problems. Now first of all, look at this urea. For this urea solution, now look at this urea. I equals to 1, so this is a non-electrolyte, being organic compound which on dissolution does not undergo association or dissociation. Then we have, look at this sodium chloride. So when sodium chloride is dissolved in water, this associates to give you sodium and chloride. This is electrolyte, so I equals to 2. Then we have sodium sulfate. So sodium sulfate is again electrolyte which dissolved in water gives you 2 moles of sodium and 1 mole of sulfate. So I will be 3 here. Then we have sodium phosphate, Na3PO4. So sodium phosphate gives you 3 moles of sodium, 1 mole of phosphate. So I will be equals to 4, Van Hoff factor I. Then we have Al2SO4 whole thrice. So these on dissolution gives you 2 moles of aluminum ion and 3 moles of sulfate ion. So 2 plus 3 is 5. So now look at this, though the concentration of these solutions are same in terms of molarity, but some of these solutes undergoes dissociation in solution. So because of this dissociation, the number of solid particles in the solution increases. So now we have to use these values of I. So first look at this. Vapor pressure of the solution will be more if number of particles is less, because all these are aqueous solution. So if the number of solvent particles is less, then the vapor pressure will be more. If the number of solid particles is more, then the vapor pressure of the solution will be much less. So now look at this vapor pressure. Vapor pressure. So the lowest solution with lowest vapor pressure will be the one having maximum quantity of solid. So look at this Al2SO4 whole thrice. Then we have Na3PO4. Then we have Na2SO4. Then we have NaCl. Then we have. So now look at this, as the number of solid particles increases, the vapor pressure of the solution will decrease. That means the vapor pressure of solution containing these quantities of solute. So look at this. This is the increasing order of vapor pressure. Then we have looked at this increasing boiling point. Now, as the vapor pressure decreases, the boiling point will increase, because to boil this solution we have to increase the vapor pressure of solution up to external pressure. So as the vapor pressure is least here, so boiling point of solution contain aluminum sulfate will be the most. So therefore look at this boiling point, increasing order of boiling point will be, suppose we have this urea, then we have NaCl, then Na2SO4, Na3PO4, then Al2SO4 whole thrice. So that means vapor pressure and boiling point is directly proportional. So as the vapor pressure is more, boiling point is inversely related to boiling point. So the solution with lesser value of vapor pressure will have more values of boiling point. Third, increasing freezing point. Now look at this freezing point. Now as we have discussed freezing point, at freezing point the vapor pressure of liquid and solid will be having same value. Now due to the presence of this solute, vapor pressure is decreased. As the vapor pressure is decreased more, the freezing point of the solution will be, now look at this, at this freezing point vapors of solute, that is solid, and the liquid form will coexist. As the vapor pressure is decreased, freezing point of the solution will also decrease. So the one having maximum value of freezing point is the one having maximum values of vapor pressure. So as the vapor pressure decreases, freezing point also decreases. So in case of freezing point, increase in freezing point. So freezing point, highest value of freezing point, the one having highest value of freezing point, the solution will freeze at much higher. So now look at this, we have this urea is the one having maximum value of vapor pressure. So if the vapor pressure is more, then the freezing point will also be, क्या होगा? So therefore the freezing point will be Al2SO4, then we have Na3PO4, Na2SO4, NaCl, then we have urea. Next we have looked at this colligative properties. Delta P by P. Now increasing in boiling relative lowering of vapor pressure. So now look at this, vapor pressure will be directly, all these colligative properties we have discussed. Colligative properties are directly proportional to the Van Hoff factor I. Now as the value of I increases, the colligative properties also increases. So the solution is urea, then NaCl, then Na2SO4, then Na3PO4, then Al2SO4 all twice. Then delta Tb also same order, delta Tf also same order, and osmotic pressure will also have. So that means colligative properties, as we have discussed, these colligative properties in directly proportional to the Van Hoff factor. So as the Van Hoff factor increases, the colligative properties, relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, and osmotic pressure of the solution also increases. So now look at this, for these types of solution we have to compare the I values, Van Hoff factor I values. So this is another question. Next question. At 100 degree vapor pressure of a solution of 6.5 gram of a solid 100 gram of water. Now we have a solution of A plus water. Mass of A is taken as 6.5 gram. Mass of water is taken as 100 gram. So is 6.5 gram of A dissolved in 100 gram of water. Now this solution is having a vapor pressure of 732 millimeter mercury. Now this solution is maintained at temperature is 100 degree centigrade. So we have a solution of A, 6.5 gram of A dissolved in 100 gram of water at 100 degree centigrade, has a vapor pressure of 732 millimeter mercury. Now question says if Kb is equals to 5.2, if Kb equals to 0.52 Kelvin per molar, what is the boiling point of solution? Boiling point of solution. What is the boiling point of solution? So now look at this question. Says vapor pressure of solution containing a non-volatile solid is given. Kb of water is given. What is the boiling point of solution? Now to define this boiling point of solution, Kb is given. So now boiling point of solutions. So since look at this, Kb, so therefore look at this, we have this delta Tb, elevation and boiling point, which is equals to Kb into molality. So now Kb is given, we have to find the molality as well as delta P. Once we define this delta Tb, we can easily define what is the boiling point of solution. So delta Tb is boiling point of solution minus boiling point of pure solvent, which is equals to Kb into m. So therefore boiling point of solution is equals to Tb naught plus Kb m. Tb naught is 100 degree centigrade, so plus Kb into m. Now we have to find the values of m. To find these values of m, we have been given the vapor pressure of solution. So from the vapor pressure of solution, we have to find this molality. Now look at this. We have this vapor pressure of solution. Temperature is given as 100 degree centigrade. So that is the boiling point of water. So at this, the vapor pressure of pure water will be 760 millimeter of mercury, which is normal boiling point. So at normal boiling point, external pressure should be, so vapor pressure of pure water will be 760 millimeter of mercury. So now we have look at this relative lowering of vapor pressure, delta P by Ps, which is equals to N2 divided by N1. So N2 is number of moles of solute, N1 is number of moles of solvent. So therefore look at this, delta P, that is P naught minus Ps divided by Ps, which is equals to N2 divided by number of moles of water. So mass is given as, look at this, 100 gram divided by 80, that is number of moles of water. So therefore look at this, number of moles of solute N2, which is equals to 18 by 100 into P naught. P naught is 760, Ps is 732 divided by 732. So this is number of moles, which is equals to 18 divided by 100 into, that is 28 divided by 732. So this is number of moles of solute which is present in the solution. Once we have this number of moles of solid, we can define what is the value of molality. So now therefore molality of the solution, that is number of moles of solid divided by mass of solvent in gram multiplied by 1000. So therefore look at this number of moles of solid is, we have this 18 into 28 into 1000 divided by 100 into 732 into mass of water is given as 100. So this is number of moles of solute which is equals to this way, into 1000 divided by mass of solvent taken in terms of the gram unit. So now this is the molality. Therefore from equation A, this TB which is equals to 100 degree centigrade plus KB, we have given the values of KB here, 0.52 into molarity, 18 into 28 into 1000 divided by 100 into 100 into 732. So this will give you the boiling point of solution. So this is 100 degree centigrade. So this unit should be degree centigrade. So why I am taking this example? Look at this. Vapor pressure of solution is given. Temperature is given as what? 100 degrees. So at this 100 degree centigrade, vapor pressure of pure water will be 760. Normal normal boiling point. From this relative lowering of vapor pressure, we have defined the number of moles of solid. Once number of moles of solid is defined, we define what is the molality of solute or solution. From this molality, we define boiling point of solution. Now on solving this, we will get the values of boiling point of solution. Next, question number 4. Question says, if molality of the solution is doubled, what is the value of Kf? If molality of a dilute solution is double, if molality of a dilute solution is double, then what is the value of Kf? Now we have to define the value, means how is the Kf, that is cryoscopic constant, molar depression and freezing point constant, changes if the concentration of the solution is doubled. Now look at this, we have defined this Kf, Kf, the value of Kf is a property of solvent. Now since this being a property of solvent, this has nothing to do with the solute. So on changing the concentration, means molality of solution is double, so we are changing the concentration. Since this being a property of solvent, changing concentration will not have any effect on the value of Kf. Independent of solute. So therefore Kf does not change on changing concentration. So we can change the concentration of solution, dilute solution. So by changing the concentration of dilute solution, Kf or this constant Kf or Kb will not have any effect, because this Kf or Kb is a property of solvent, depends only on the solvent. So changing concentration of the solution means we are changing the amount of solid, so will not have any effect on the value of Kp. So Kp will remain unchanged. Next question. Calculate the Van Hoff factor. Van Hoff factor I of a dilute solution, dilute aqueous solution of strong electrolyte barium hydroxide. So question says we have a dilute solution of strong electrolyte barium hydroxide in water. We have to find the values of Van Hoff factor I. Now since question says this is strong electrolyte, so strong electrolyte, now look at it, strong electrolyte is the one which is fully ionized in solution. So we have looked at this barium hydroxide. This barium hydroxide being a strong electrolyte, this undergoes dissociation to give you barium ion plus 2 moles of hydroxide ion in solution. Now we are taking with 1 mole of this, suppose let's assume we are taking 1 mole of barium hydroxide is being dissolved in water, but this 1 mole of barium hydroxide gives you 1 mole of barium ion and 2 moles of, take this, suppose this starting with 1 mole, so this gives you 1 mole and 2 mole. So now look at this, number of particles after dissolution is 3. So therefore number of particles present in the actual number of particles present in the solution is 3. So the I, that is Van Hoff factor, is 3. That is complete dissociation. Next question says, now vapor pressure of a pure solvent, vapor pressure of pure solvent is 100 millimeter mercury at 293 Kelvin. Now we have a solution, vapor pressure of solution. Now we have a solution. Now this solution contains 1 mole of strong electrolyte AB2 in 99 moles of solvent. Then question says, what is the vapor pressure of solution? So we have a pure solvent whose vapor pressure at 293 Kelvin is 100 millimeter mercury. Now we have a solution of strong electrolyte AB2 in the given solvent such that 1 mole of AB2 is present in 99 moles of solvent. Then what is the vapor pressure of solution? Now we have to define the vapor pressure of solution containing this strong electrolyte. So question already says we have a strong electrolyte AB2. So AB2 being a strong electrolyte, when this is dissolved in water, this gives you A plus 2 plus 2 moles of B minus. So though we are starting with 1 mole of the electrolyte, but solution contains how many moles of electrolyte? 3. So therefore I is 3. So we have Van Hoff factor I. Now we have to find the vapor pressure of solution. Now therefore this we can say delta P by P naught relative lowering of vapor pressure, which is equals to I times mole fraction of solute. You can write down. Now I is 3, mole fraction of solute, that is number of moles of solute. Number of moles of solid is 1. Total number of moles of solvent, that is 1 plus 99. Yes. So I times mole fraction of solute. So I is 3. Mole fraction of solid is number of moles of solid divided by total number of moles. So this comes out to be 1 by 100 is 0.01. So this is 0.03. Now we have look at this delta P. Delta P is P naught minus PS divided by P naught, which is equals to 0.03. So therefore look at this is 1 minus PS by P naught, which is equals to 0.03. So therefore PS by P naught, which is equals to 1 minus 0.03. So this is 0.97. Therefore PS is equals to P naught into 0.97, which is equals to 0.97 into 100 millimeter mercury. So this is 97 mm of mercury. So question being very simple, but we have to use this Van Hoff factor I. So Van Hoff factor I being 3, so we have to proceed in this way. This is colligative property of electrolytic solution. So I hope you are getting this question. Next question number 7. Question says 0.1 molar aqueous solution of a weak acid. Weak monoprotic acid is 30% ionized. 30% ionized. If Kf of water, that is Kf of water, is 1.86 degrees centigrade per molar, what is the freezing point of solution? What is freezing point of solution? Now we have a solution. We have a solution of 0.1 molar weak acid in water, which is 30% ionized. Kf is given. What is the freezing point of solution? Now look at this. Since question says freezing point, so we have, and Kf is given, so we have to use this delta Tf, depression and freezing point, is equals to I times Kf into molality. Now this delta Tf is Tf naught minus Tf, which is equals to I times Kf into m. So therefore freezing point of solution is Tf naught minus I times Kf m. So freezing point of pure water is 0 degree centigrade minus I times Kf into m. Now Kf given, m is given, we have to find the values of I. So look at this. So we have a weak acid which is 30% ionized. So alpha, degree of dissociation, which is equals to I minus 1 divided by n minus 1. Now alpha is given as 30%. We have to find the values of I, where n is the number of moles of ions present in the solution. So now look at this, we have this weak electrolyte. This weak electrolyte undergoes partial dissociation to give you H plus ion plus A minus. Now 1 mole of this weak electrolyte in solution gives you how many moles of ion? 2. So therefore look at this, I is equals to, n, number of particles present in the solution is equals to, means number of moles of ion furnished by 1 mole of the electrolyte, that is equals to n. So now substituting the values of this n and alpha, we get, look at it. Alpha is 0.3, so 30% is 30 divided by 100. So this equals to I minus 1, 2 minus 1. So therefore I is equals to 1.3. So we have the values of I. Kf is given, I is known, molarity is already given, so we can define this Tf. So therefore, Tf, freezing point of solution, 0 degree centigrade, 0 degree centigrade minus I is 1.3, Kf is 1.86, into molarity is 0.1. So this is 0 minus 1.86 into 0.13 degree centigrade. So this will be the freezing point. So because of the presence of this electrolyte, freezing point is decreased. So suppression or depression in freezing point of solution. So this is number 7. Now let's see question number 8. Next question. Question says 200 ml aqueous solution of protein. So we have an aqueous solution of protein whose volume is 200 ml, contains 1.26 gram. So 200 ml of aqueous solution of protein contains 1.26 gram of protein. The osmotic pressure of the solution is found to be, osmotic pressure at 300 Kelvin is 2.57 into 10 to the power minus 3 bar. Question says, what is the molecular mass of protein? Molar mass of protein. Given the value of R should be 0.083 bar Kelvin per mole per. So now look at this. Volume of solution is given, mass of protein present in the solution is given, osmotic pressure is given, temperature is given. We have to find the molar mass of protein. Now since osmotic pressure is given, so we have to use the equation of osmotic pressure. So osmotic pressure says pi V is equals to N R T. Now N is equals to mass divided by molar mass into R into T. So we have to find the molar mass. So therefore molar mass is equals to WRT divided by pi V. All the values are given. W is 1.26, R is 0.083, temperature is 300 Kelvin, osmotic pressure is given as 2.57 into 10 to the power minus 3, volume is given as 200 into 10 to the power minus 3. So therefore look at this is equals to 126 into 0.883 into 300 into 10 to the power plus 6 minus 3 plus 6 divided by 2.57 into 200. So this is the molecular mass of the protein. Now look at this. We can write down 126 into 83 into 300 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 257 into 200. So 10 to the power 3 multiplied by 0.083 comes out to be 83. So we are left with 300, 200, 256. Again, we can cancel this out. So look at this is 126 into 83 into 3 divided by 257 into 2 into 10 to the power 3 gram per mole. So this is the molar mass of the protein whose 200 ml At 300 Kelvin, pressure is osmotic pressure is 2.57 into 10 power minus 3 bar. Next question. Question says 5 gram of sodium sulfate is dissolved in 5 gram of sodium sulfate in 45 gram of water. 5 gram of sodium sulfate is dissolved in 45 gram of water. The freezing point changes by the delta TF produced, means freezing point changes by minus 3.82 degrees centigrade. Calculate the Van Hoff factor of sodium sulfate. Calculate I of sodium sulfate if Kf of water is 1.86 minus degree Kelvin, centigrade per mole. So we have to find the value of I, mass of sodium sulfate and mass of water as given to you. Depression and freezing point produced is given. Kf of water is given. So since depression and freezing point is given, so we have to use the depression and freezing point constant for electrolytic solution. So therefore delta TF is equals to I times Kf into M. Delta TF is given, Kf is given. We have to find the value of I and M. So therefore I is equals to delta TF divided by Kf into M. Let this be equation A. Now first we have to find the molality. So by definition we say molality is mass of solute into 1000 divided by molar mass of solute into mass of solvent, taken in terms of gram unit. So mass of solid is given as 5 into 1000 divided by molar mass. Sodium is 23 into 2, 46 plus 96. So we have 142 into, that is 45 grams. So this is the molality, mass of solute divided by molar mass. Molar mass of solid is sodium sulfate. Sodium is 23 into 2, 46 plus 96. So 142. So this is the molality. Now we use the values of molality here. So therefore I is equals to T delta TF. Delta TF is minus 3.82 divided by Kf is minus 1.86 into M. M is here. So we have 5 into 1000 divided by 142 into 45. So this cancels out. So therefore this equals to 3.82 into 142 into 45 divided by 1.86 into 5 into 1000. So this will give you the values of I. So this is the Van Hoff factor I for this solution. Next question is, we have 4 different solutions. 4 different solutions of K2SO4 with concentrations 0.1 molar, 0.01 molar, 0.001 molar and 0.001 molar. These are the 4 different solutions of KSO4 with having different the maximum values of Van Hoff factor with solution as maximum value of Van Hoff factor I. Now we have 4 different solutions of K2SO4 having different concentration 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Now question says which of the solution will have maximum values of Van Hoff factor I. Van Hoff factor I depends on the degree of dissociation. Now for electrolytic solution, the degree of dissociation alpha increases with dilution. So now look at this. Alpha I is proportional to alpha, that is degree of dissociation. So as the alpha increases, I value will increases. And now look at this alpha, degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation increases with dilution. That means as the concentration decreases, degree of dissociation of electrolyte also increases. Now look at this. We have 0.1, 0.01, 0.001, 0.0001 molar. So the one having least value of concentration is 0.001 molar. So this is the most diluted form of the solution. Now since this is the dilute solution, so we'll have alpha value. So alpha value is maximum for, so alpha is maximum for 0.001 molar solution. If alpha is maximum for 0.001 molar solution, then I will be maximum for, therefore I is maximum for 0.001. So simply I am saying as the dilution increases, alpha increases. As the alpha increases, the Van Hoff factor I also increases. So Van Hoff factor I is proportional to alpha, and alpha is inversely related to concentration. So as the concentration increases, alpha decreases, I factor will decrease. So I factor increases from this 0.1 molar to 0.001 molar solution. Now next question says a 0.002 molar aqueous solution of an ionic compound. So we have given an ionic compound whose concentration is 0.002 molar and its aqueous solution. Compound is CO NH3 5 NO2 Cl, freezes at minus 0.0073 degrees centigrade. The number of moles of iron, how many moles of ions are produced by 1 mole? Produced by 1 mole of ionic compound. Kf of water is given as 1.86 degree centigrade per mole. So now look at this, concentration of solution is given. Question clearly says this is ionic compound. Depression of freezing point is 0.00732 Kelvin, sorry, degree centigrade. Kf of solution water is given. So how many moles of ionic compound will be produced by 1 mole of this ionic compound. So now since depression and freezing point is given, so we have to use delta TF. So delta TF is equal to I times KF into M. So now look at this, I is equals to delta TF divided by KF into M. So already question is given as delta TF. So delta TF is 0.00732 divided by KF. KF is 1.86. M molarity is 2 into 10 to the power minus 3. So therefore look at this, this equals to 0.00732 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 1.86 into 2. So this can be written as 7.32 divided by 1.86 into 2. So that is 732 divided by 186 into 2. So this is 732 divided by 372. 7.32. So this is approximately coming to be 2. So 1 mole of this ionic compound will give approximately 2 moles of, or exactly 2 moles, but something 1 point something, and this is very close to 2. So this is how we define Van der factor I if delta T, if Kf and molarity is given to us. Next question. Next question. 0.1 molar 0.01 molar solutions of KCl and barium chloride are prepared in water. Prepared in water. The freezing point of KF solution. Delta T of KCl solution is minus 2 degrees centigrade. What is the freezing point of barium chloride solution assumed to be completely ionized if Kf of water is, so concentration is same. Now we have to find the freezing point of BaCl2. Now look at this. Delta Tf is equals to I times Kf into molality. Now therefore look at this. Delta Tf of KCl is equals to I Kf into molality of KCl, and delta Tf of barium chloride is equals to I Kf m of barium chloride. So delta Tf KCl is minus 2 divided by barium chloride. Suppose this is, we have to find the values, which is equals to I of KCl is 2 into Kf. Now we can assume for a direct solution molarity is approximately equals to molality. So we have 0.01 divided by barium chloride. Look at it, this is assumed to be completely ionized, so we have I factor 3 into Kf into 0.01. So this value will cancel out. So therefore look at this, delta TF is equals to minus 2 into 3 divided by 2, so this is minus 3. So freezing point of the solution will be minus 3 degree centigrades. Next question. If 5.5 gram of solute, 0.5 gram of solute whose molecular mass is 100 gram in 25 gram of solvent elevates the boiling point, by 1 K, then what is the value of Kb? What is the value of Kb? Elevation and boiling point of the solution is 1. Mass of solid is 0.5. Molar mass is 100. Mass of solvent is 25 grams. So what is the value of Kb? Now question involves elevation and boiling point, so we have to use the equation of elevation and boiling point. So therefore delta Tb is equals to Kb into molality. So therefore Kb is equals to delta Tb by molality. Now molality is defined as number of moles divided by kilogram of solvent. So number of moles of solid, mass divided by molar mass, moles into molar mass of solvent in kilogram. So therefore this is delta Tb into M2 into 25 divided by W2 into 1000. Delta Tb is 1, M2 is given as 100 into 25, mass of solid is given as 0.5, so 0.5 into 1000, so 5 into 100, so Kb is 5. Elevation in boiling point constant, Kb is 5 for this. Now question says calculate the number of moles of sodium sulfate to be dissolved in 12 mole of water to lower vapor pressure by 10 mm mercury at a temperature at which the vapor pressure of pure water is 50 mm of mercury. So now look at this question says lowering of vapor pressure is 10 mm mercury. Vapor pressure of pure water is 50 mm mercury. Now we have to find number of moles of sodium sulfate. So that number of moles of water is 12. Now since question given as lowering of vapor pressure, so we have to use relative lowering of vapor pressure. So we say delta P by P naught is equals to N2 divided by N1. So N2 is, we have to define, N1 is 12, delta P is 10, P naught is 50. So this equals to N2 by 12. Number of moles of sodium sulfate to be dissolved in 12 mole of water. So therefore look at this, N2 is equals to (12 into 10) divided by So this is the number of moles of sodium sulfate to be dissolved. Sodium sulfate to be dissolved in 12 mole of water to lower vapor pressure by 10 at a temperature which vapor pressure is 50 millimeter mercury. This is N2 total number of moles. So therefore look at this, delta P is 10, the P naught is 50, which is equals to N2 by 12 plus N2. So this equals to 5 is equals to 1 plus 12 by N2. So therefore N2 is equals to 3. Now look at this. I factor for sodium sulfate Na2SO4 gives you 2Na plus sulfate ion. So therefore I equals to 3. So total number of particles present in the solution is 3. Therefore number of moles of sodium sulfate to be dissolved is 1. If actual number of particles present in the solution is 3, but I factor is 1, so I factor is 3, so 1 mole will give you 3 moles. So the number of moles of sodium sulfate to be dissolved is 1 mole. So 1 mole of sodium sulfate when dissolved in water, 12 moles of water will lower vapor pressure by 10 millimeter of mercury. Next question. Very dilute solution of X3Y4 salt. A very dilute solution of X3Y4 salt has a vapor pressure of 20 mm mercury at T temperature, while vapor pressure of pure water at this temperature is 20.0126 millimeter mercury. Calculate the molality. Calculate molality of solution. A very dilute solution of X3Y4 salt has a vapor pressure of 20 mm at T, while P naught is given. Calculate the molality of solution. Now we have to find the molality, that is the concentration of solution. Now look at this, vapor pressure of solution given है, vapor pressure of fuel component given है. So this is equals to the mole fraction. So now look at this. We have this equation, relative lowering of vapor pressure. Delta P by P naught is equals to I times X2. So I times X2. So I times X2 is equals to delta P. It is P naught minus Ts divided by P naught 20.01 to. Now we have to find the molality. Now look at this. X3 Y4 on dissolution gives you 3 moles of X Y plus 4 moles of Y 3 minus. So therefore I is equals to 7. So therefore X2 is equals to 0.012 divided by 20.012. I is 7. This is the mole fraction of solute. Now question says a very dilute solution. So this mole fraction is approximately equals to number of moles of solute divided by number of moles of solvent. So this value is equals to 0.012 divided by 20.012 into 7. So therefore number of moles of solute is equals to 0.012 divided by 20.012 into 7 into, now we have water. Water at room temperature has a density of 1 gram per centimeter cube. So therefore number of moles is 55.56. So since we have number of moles of solute, therefore now look at this. Molarity of solution, that is number of moles of solute into 1000 divided by mass of solvent. Now so number of moles is 55.56 into 0.012 divided by 20.012 into 7 into 1000 divided by mass of solvent. So mass of solvent is taken to be 1000, cancel out. So this is the molarity of solution. So next question says a solution containing 1.8 gram of a compound whose empirical formula is CH2O in 40 gram of water is observed to freeze at 0.0465 degrees centigrade. What is the molecular formula of the compound if Kf of the solution is given? Now solution is freezing at minus 0.465. This is the delta Tf produced. So delta Tf is equals to Kf into molality. So molality is Kf into mass of solute 1000 divided by molar mass of solid into mass of solvent. So now look at this. We have to find the molar mass. So molar mass of solid is Kf into W2 into 1000 divided by delta Tf into mass of solvent. Kf is 1.86, W2 is 1.8 into 1000 divided by delta Tf is 0.465, mass of solvent is 40. So this is the value of molar mass. So this is 186 into 18 into 1000 divided by 465 into 40. So this is the molecular mass. Now look at this. We have this formula mass. Empirical formula mass is Carbon is 12, hydrogen 2, 2 12 plus 2 14, 14 plus 16, that is 14 plus 16 30. So empirical formula mass is 30. We have this molar mass, so therefore N is equals to molar mass divided by empirical formula mass. So molar mass is, we have to look at this, 186 into 18 into 1000 divided by 465 into 40 into 30. So we can cancel this out. So we have divided by 465. So we have in 30 N. So this is the molecular N. So once we have this N, to molecular formula is N times empirical formula. This is empirical formula, this is N. So we have this molecular formula from freezing point, depression constant. So these are some of the typical problems involving colligative properties. Hopefully you enjoy this class. I just go through this and try to solve other numerical problems also. Thank you all.